Sunny Shunjo, Perigin Sopa, Bayford area, Bayford Friends of Tibet, then Uyghur, Hong Kong, East Mongolian, South China Sea, and it Yari, Monzo, Didiba, those Tobacca gave which goes on the Yamu country, look at the Pay Hotel, number some of the Yamshuna, the Hale Gauda, to the chest, that live to Tamun Maguchi, those houses that to Mangutang Moe, Tomodale, Tino, Jamu Chola, Kujamu, the Puyotone, take up to Jalu to be. Next, we'll have one moment of silence to pay the solidarity and the homage to our brave brother and sister who sacrificed their life for the country. Dene ya ngazo kamuchi ngaje geje pawo pawo nangmi jeshu da thanglo ya khudu da 동생 nyami ge chen kamuchi ngaje gozuyi kamuchi ngaje gozuyi. President of Tibetan Association of Northern California in Tibetan, Mr. Kungala, please.
아니 도식 셰르 손세나레 장노마초 소바테기 아니 함셰 땅 즈마시아 마타세나레 나나 남청 알아서 시야지리 즈마 동기 아니 덴바치킨 고 탑세기 셰바난신기 다른 자치니 장노로바시아 땅 치노수기 가르세고레 코자르 손셰나가 문제 지기올라 타식도 못 보이지 여진이 이 자시 올림픽 초배기 간나 초총라 되니 대지 당부 수행이로 안데시 마솔라 니리라 싸워니니 잡초지 마소지니 어디지 주야인 아니 남바서 데리데 팽게서 천화서 원이 자니 그 남전들의 진이 페디그 아니 잡초 니리시니 kana 칼리제니 페팔라 아니 남바 참말로 특제 체시와다 아니 데리 알아서기 남지 가르나 초바 마보지 페디그 남바 참말로 특제 체지니 어디지 주야인 데니 다라 마조 데니 냠타 가르시야잖아 아니 마조 데리기 실라기 kana 레kana 진다티 아니 गुरु करी सुंदे जाखंग के कतुना ngaso समझी तुरी नारी तिनी तिरी yang कोजु जिंदा छिगरे खोरंग जिंदा की मेलानी गावा ता निमा से की रे अति कतुना ngaso की तिनी दिली के कारसे गोरे ngaso ते शिरको तिनीला फितु संबाला खोसु जिंदा छिगरे खोसरा नि थपनि काटन छे जुइन
I want to thank all the groups that came out here today. The San Francisco Regional Tibetan Youth Congress, the Tibetan Association of Northern California, the U.S. Hong Kongers Club, the Northern Californians, Hong Kongers, Students for Hong Kong, Bay Area Friends of Tibet, Humanitarian China, the Chinese Democracy Education Foundation, Uyghur San Francisco, Bay Area Students for Free Tibet, and Far East Freedom Youth League, and the umbrella organization of the International Tibet Network, for all the hard work for everyone to come out here today. People have been working on this Olympics campaign for over a year. The Tibetan Youth Congress here regionally did a protest in June here in the Golden Gate Bridge, and so now we're here on the opening day, or right on the eve of the opening day of the Winter Beijing Olympics, which are we consider bloody games and genocide games. We're here today to do what we've continued to do, is to ask the world not to turn a blind eye to the incredible destruction that's happened to the lands and the peoples of Tibet and our allies like the East Turkestans, the Uyghurs, and Falun Gongs and Chinese democracy groups. What has been going on in Tibet is that 78% of all Tibetan children today are being carted off away from their families, kids as young as 5 years old, and taken to colonial boarding schools. It's not a lie to say that Tibet is one of the largest colonial resource extraction projects in the world, and the IOC should be ashamed of itself, the International Olympic Corporation, because they're not following the motto of the IOC, faster, stronger. What is it? Faster, stronger, or higher, or together, in the motto, the Olympic motto about the repression in Tibet. This is not following the motto. This is just like the 2008 Olympics. It's another farce. It's a big farce put together by the Chinese government and willing business leaders and other leaders to ignore the truth that the adults in places like the National Broadcasting Corporation, NBC, already know the truth that Tibet has suffered for nearly 77 decades, and 6 million Tibetans are in the largest prison camp today. According to Freedom House, Tibet is the least free country on earth, tied with Syria. It's a wake up world. We're begging people. That's why we're marching here today. This is why we're raising our flags and raising our signs and saying, don't watch bloody games. This is why we asked NBC not to broadcast genocide and be complicit like the IOC in turning a blind eye and letting China right in front of our faces deflect their true human rights records. It's no secret that these big sporting events are used by corporations and individuals to make themselves look good and to enrich themselves. And that's what's happening today. There's no excuse for diverting the world's attention against genocide. In 2008, Beijing was given these Olympics, and they promised to do better, and they did not. We're asking the world to stop playing these propaganda exercises with Beijing and Xi Jinping and the Chinese Communist Party. We're asking people, don't watch the bloody games. Don't participate. Do not stain yourselves or your own karma by being complicit with this irresponsible deflection. The crackdown in Tibet, it's been terrible. Tibetans cannot travel freely within Tibet. Tibetans and Uyghurs do not have the freedom like the corporate sponsors Airbnb and Coca-Cola do. Millions of Uyghurs are imprisoned. Chinese soldiers get to sleep in the same bed with Uyghur wives. The political prisoner situation in Tibet is horrific. Since 2008, over 2,000 political prisoners have been made. Some of the biggest political prisoners in Tibet include His Holiness the Panchen Lama, the second most revered Lama of Tibet, who was kidnapped in 1995 when he was only 6 years old because the Dalai Lama said that he was the Panchen Lama. which was his right as the religious leader of the Tibetans for centuries. And Tenzin Delek Rinpoche was killed in 2015 in police custody after he was in prison for so many years on false charges of and his nephews were mercilessly executed. 6,000 Tibetan Buddhist monasteries irreplaceable, destroyed, crown jewels of Tibetan culture. So we are here again today to protest the destructions of our lands and our people, and we're begging the world not to be complicit by enjoying these games and by playing Beijing's genocide deflection. So thank you all for showing here today. We will march across the Golden Gate Bridge and we will go to the Chinese consulate and we'll do our best to continue this until everyone's human rights are safe, because no one's human rights are safe unless all of our human rights are safe. And the Olympic motto is a true Olympic motto, and there's not a farce anymore and not genocide games.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Giovanni. Next among us, we have Christina Ola, as former San Francisco supervisor, right?
My name is Christina Olagi. I'm a Latina activist, daughter of farm workers, grew up in the Fresno Valley, and I stand here in solidarity with the people of Tibet, the Uyghur people. Did I pronounce it correctly? And the freedom fighters in Hong Kong. And I think it's so important for all of us to stand together in solidarity and to hold the people of Tibet, the Uyghur people, and the people, freedom fighters in Hong Kong, in our hearts and in our souls. I noticed that over the years, I've always been kind of one of the ones who stands in the background. Maybe I'll send a letter occasionally, or put up a Tibet freedom poster in my house somewhere, so that I never forget. So we always have to keep these small reminders about us, because I noticed that over the years, 10 years ago, in the 90s at least, that's when this was all the rage, right? There were so many celebrities and movies were coming out, and there were thousands of people, there were concerts, and so many people were highlighting and advocating on behalf of the people of Tibet. And every year it seems that the crowds get smaller. But I look around today and there's still, I don't know, there's about 100 of us here today, wouldn't you say? About 100? Easily?
Yes.
Yeah. So, the movement is never going to end, because the human rights abuses by the Chinese government do not end. And so as long as people are self-immolating, monks and individuals, to call attention to the people of Tibet and to their oppression and to their suffering, and as long as the Uyghur people are being placed in what is really considered, they call them re-education camps, and all these oppressive governments and people in power who want to oppress people and control people, they'll learn from each other. And so in the U.S. government at one time, as we know, we were re-educating Native Americans or indigenous people here. In Canada, they did the same thing. And now in China, they're doing the same thing to the people of Tibet. It's cultural genocide. And they call it re-education camps. And this type of oppression continues to go on. And we cannot, as individuals, turn a blind eye to Tibet, no matter if there's one of us, two of us, 100 of us, or 100,000 of us, because people are still suffering at the hands of the Chinese government in these countries. And again, as I mentioned last time, we shouldn't hold contempt for the people of China. We have to make sure that we remember and keep in mind always that it's the people of Tibet, because we don't want to turn that hatred. 100,000 of us. So I pray that people in the U.S., start to pay attention again to this issue, and at the very least, turn off NBC and boycott the Olympics. It's so ironic that the U.S. government is advising their athletes not to take flip phones because they're afraid of espionage. Well, then why not just boycott the Olympics altogether? So they're I think, was it Biden who came out with some not a mandate, obviously, but came out with some comment about how the U.S. is boycotting the Olympics. But, if we're serious, then we'd stay out of it, and we'd tell our we would advise our athletes not to participate. So here we are, a lot of words, but action's more important when it comes to this. So don't watch the NBC Olympics and continue to hold compassion in your hearts.
Boycott Beijing Olympics! Boycott Beijing Olympics! Boycott Beijing Olympics! Boycott Bloody Olympics! Boycott Bloody Olympics! Boycott Bloody Olympics! Boycott Bloody Olympics! Boycott Genocide Olympics! Boycott Genocide Olympics! Boycott Genocide Olympics! Boycott Genocide Olympics! Stop the killings by China! Stop the killings by China! Stop the killings by China! Free Uyghurs! Free Uyghurs! Free Tibet! China, stop lying to the world. Stop lying to the world.
Stop lying to the world.
No rights, no deeds.
No rights, no deeds.
No rights, no deeds. Please debate! Please debate! China lies, people die! Stop the killing in Tibet!
Stop the killing in Tibet!
No more bloody games. No more bloody games. No more bloody games. No more bloody games. Stop watching Beijing Olympics. Stop watching Beijing Olympics. Stop watching Beijing Olympics.
Stop watching Beijing Olympics!
No rights, no games.
No rights, no games!
No rights, no games.
No rights, no games!
China out of Tibet now.
China out of Tibet now!
We want freedom.
We want freedom!
Freedom of human rights. Freedom of human rights. Freedom of freedom. Freedom.
Freedom!
We want freedom. Stop the killing in Tibet.
Stop the killing in Tibet.
Stop the fire in Tibet. Stop genocide in Tibet. China, the world is watching you.
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 Enough is enough.
Enough is enough!
No more bloody games.
No more bloody games!
Stop watching Beijing Olympics.
Stop watching Beijing Olympics. Stop watching Beijing Olympics.
Stop lying to the world.
China, stop lying to the world.
Human rights! Free Tibet! Free Tibet now! China out of Tibet! China out of Tibet! China out of Tibet! Human rights!
Boycott! Boycott! Boycott Beijing Olympics! Boycott Beijing Olympics! Boycott Beijing Olympics! Boycott Beijing Olympics! Free Uyghur! Free Uyghur! Free Uyghur! Free Hong Kong! 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 Free Uyghur! Free Uyghur! Free Uyghur! Free Uyghur! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Boycott Beijing Olympics! Boycott Beijing Olympics! China out of Tibet now! Shame more Chinese government! Shame more Chinese government! Back up United Nations! Back up United Nations! China run, people die! Uyghur! Free Uyghur! Free Uyghur! Free Uyghur! Free Uyghur! Free Uyghur! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Boycott Beijing Olympics! Boycott Beijing Olympics! Boycott Beijing Olympics! Boycott Beijing Olympics! China run, people die! China run, people die! Shame more Chinese government! Shame more China! Shame more Chinese government! Shame more Chinese government! Boycott Beijing Olympics! Boycott Beijing Olympics! Boycott!
More Chinese government.
Boycott! Boycott!
Boycott, boycott.
Beijing Olympics!
Beijing Olympics.
Boycott! Boycott!
Boycott, boycott.
Beijing Olympics!
Beijing Olympics.
Shame more Chinese government!
Shame on Chinese government.
No justice, no peace!
No justice, no peace.
Shame more Chinese government!
Shame on Chinese government.
Free Tibet! Free Tibet!
Free Tibet, free Tibet.
Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong, free Hong Kong.
Free Uyghur! Free Uyghur!
Free Uyghur, free Uyghur.
Free Uyghur! Free Uyghur!
Free Uyghur, free Uyghur.
Free Taiwanese! Free Taiwanese!
Free Taiwanese, free Taiwanese.
Free Taiwanese! Free Taiwanese!
Free Taiwanese, free Taiwanese.
Free Falun Gong! Free Falun Gong!
Free Falun Gong, free Falun Gong.
Free Falun Gong! Free Falun Gong!
Free Falun Gong, free Falun
We
Gong.
will never give up!
We will never give up.
We will never give up!
We will never give up.
Shame more Chinese government!
Shame on Chinese government.
China out of Tibet now!
China out of Tibet now.
Tibet belongs to Tibetans!
Tibet belongs to Tibetans.
Tibet belongs to Tibetans!
Tibet belongs to Tibetans.
Boycott Beijing Olympics!
Boycott Beijing Olympics.
Boycott Beijing Olympics!
Boycott Beijing Olympics.
Boycott Beijing Olympics!
Boycott Beijing Olympics.
Xi Jinping is the killer!
Xi Jinping is a killer.
Xi Jinping is the killer!
Xi Jinping is a killer.
Shame on killer!
Shame on killer.
Xi Jinping is the killer!
Xi Jinping is a killer.
Shame on killer!
Shame on killer.
Xi Jinping is the killer!
Xi Jinping is a killer.
Shame on killer!
Shame on killer.
Boycott Beijing Olympics!
Boycott Beijing Olympics.
Boycott Beijing Olympics!
Boycott Beijing Olympics.
China out of Tibet now!
China out of Tibet now.
Tibet now!
China out of Tibet now.
Human rights in Tibet!
Human rights in Tibet.
Human rights in Uyghur!
Human rights in Uyghur.
Human rights in Hong Kong!
Human rights in Hong Kong.
Human rights in Taiwan!
Human rights in Taiwan.
Free Tibet! Free Tibet!
Free Tibet, free Tibet.
Free Falun Gong! Free Falun Gong!
Free Falun Gong, free Falun Gong.
Free Falun Gong! Free Falun Gong!
Free Falun Gong, free Falun Gong.
Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong, free Hong Kong.
Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong, free Hong Kong.
Free Uyghur! Free Uyghur!
Free Uyghur, free Uyghur.
Okay, now we will officially start our today's event for boycott.
제
강소대배 조그 정세교 기배유다 도대조주 예배장래야 백개고 시대배라죠 근조대 느껴쟁이을기 가시은아 본도조회시 나조무 배유의 예고지 Thank you everyone and after that we'll observe a 1 minute silence to pay the solidarity to our brave brothers and sisters of Tibet, Hong Kong, Uyghurs and other nations who were under the repression and under the Chinese authority. And our 1 moment silence starts now, please. Thank you, everyone. And I have a list of the speakers from the different associations, and I would like to give a chance for at least 2 minutes to speak related to the Beijing Olympic. First of all, I would like to call Giovanni, Bay Area, President of Bay Area Friends of Tibet. Giovanni, please.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out here today at the Chinese consulate on the eve of the Beijing Winter Olympics, which we know as the Genocide Games. Can we just remember the political prisoners? In Tibet, one of the most famous political prisoners is the Panchen Lama, the second most revered Lama of Tibet. He was a boy kidnapped at 6 years old and has never been seen since 1995. We're worried about a tennis player today, Peng Shui, and it's great that that person got revered Lamas Tenzin Dalek Rinpoche was killed in police custody. China stole Tibet in 1949 and 1950 while the world was preoccupied with the Korean War and other events. And since then, 1.2 million Tibetans and more have been killed by the Chinese government. Over 6,000 Tibetan Buddhist monasteries razed and destroyed. And since the last time the Chinese government was awarded the Olympics in 2008, when they promised more human rights, actually they did the opposite and gave us less human rights and over 100.
Hello everyone, my name is Ariel, and I'm a representative from Student for Hong Kong as oversee Hong Kong Student Coalition fighting for human rights and democracy for Hong Kong. And yeah, thank you so much for giving me the chance to speak here today. And when Beijing is hosting the first Summer Olympic in 2008,
community, whatever the circle that we can reach to make a difference. Thank you so much. Free Uyghur! Free Uyghur! Free Tibet! Free Tibet! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Free Taiwan! Free Taiwan! Free Tibet! Free Tibet! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Free Uyghur! Free Uyghur! Free Uyghurs! Free Uyghurs! Thank you very much.
Thank you, cousin. Thank you, cousin. Next, we have Lobsang Children, General Secretary of San Francisco Regional Tibetan Youth Congress, will read out the Tibetan Youth Congress official statements on the day.
Hello everyone, thank you for coming. I know it was a long march. Thank you. So I will be reading out the statement from TYC. My name is Lobsang Triden. I am General Secretary for RTYC. Thank you. The Olympic game is a game of glory and an opportunity for sportsmen and women to share the spirit of love and friendship and promote peaceful solutions to the conflicting issue around the world in a fair and friendly manner. But this time it is hosted in Beijing, China, a country that has a record for their human rights violation and for committing genocides of Tibetans, Uyghurs, and others who are colonized and controlled under the oppressive and repressive system. It is hosted by a regime that continues to commit gross human rights violation in Tibet and continues to demolish and destroy the monastic institution down to ashes. Recently, before a month countdown to Beijing Winter Olympics, the Chinese government forcefully demolished a 99-foot Buddha statue and burned down 45 prayer wheels amid a wave of ongoing demolitions in Dargo and other parts of Tibet. And the CCP continues to detain and imprison Tibetans for expressing their disapproval of the hardline policies and the inhuman treatment. The situation in Tibet has sharply deteriorated since the Beijing Olympics in 2008, and alarming numbers of Tibetans continues to die in custody under the Chinese authorities, and many have burned themselves in protest against China. The brutal policies of Chinese governments are increasingly being recognized by the diplomatic boycotts from countries, including the US and others. The 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics run a serious risk of legitimizing these abuses. Despite the increasing abuses against the Tibetans, Uyghurs, Hong Kongers, Taiwanese, and Inner Mongolians, China has faced no challenge from the IOC. Therefore, we urge the international community and the world leaders to condemn the IOC complicit in sports washing the crime against humanity, and to make China accountable for not only posing a threat to the survivals of the Tibetans' culture and their identity, but also for imposing a strategic and security threat to the free nation of the world. We believe Olympians are people of conscience who are committed to the Olympic Charter and its fundamental principles of Olympism that includes the focus on the harmonious development of humankind and promoting a peaceful society concerned with the preservation of human dignity and the rights and the freedoms of all secured without the discrimination of any kind. Therefore, we urge and appeal to the participating athletes to show their support and solidarity to our fight for the just cause by returning the blood-stained medal that has cost countless lives, and the medal made up of minerals extracted by exploring the rich mineral resources of Tibetan plateau, and the medal known for the history of oppressions. We therefore call to condemn the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics, the genocide games, and make China accountable for killing the right abuses and crack down on dissent. Free Tibet!
Free Tibet!
Free Tibet!
Free Tibet!
Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong!
Free Vietnam!
Free Vietnam!
Free Vietnam!
Free Vietnam!
Free Taiwan!
Free Taiwan!
Free Taiwan!
Free Taiwan!
Thank you.
Free the community. You can see our flag here. Thank you. Thank you. Town monastery. Rather than taking pictures and enjoying the goodwill and support of the Communist Party, Communist government, they looted most of the food from my hometown and traded them for weapons. Those weapons are the plane and bombs that torn down little monastery, Tibetan villages, and thousands of other monasteries.
Guys, my name is Jack Yung, and I represent for the anti-China expansion movement. And it is my honor today to join the protest today. Down, down, down the CCP!
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 Down, down, down the communists!
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 So the great Dalai Lama have said that the communists was born from the poverty, and they grew up from lie, deceiving, and violence, and they will die from the scorning and cursing of the people. Let me read you the cycle of the communists. The only good communist is the dead communist. Down, down, down to CCP.
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 China lie, people die.
China lies, people die.
China lie, people die.
China lies, people die.
Red China, get out Tibet.
Let China get out of Taipei.
Red China, get out Tibet.
Let China get out of Taipei.
Red China, get up East Turkestan.
Let China get out of Uzbekistan.
Red China, get up East Turkestan.
Let China get out of Uzbekistan.
Red China, get up Hong Kong.
Let China get out of Hong Kong.
Red China, get up Hong Kong.
Let China get out of Hong Kong.
Red China, get up Mongolia.
Let China get out of Mongolia.
Red China, get out Vietnam.
Let China get out of Vietnam.
Red China, get out Vietnam.
Let China get out of Vietnam.
Red China, get out Philippines.
Let China get out of Philippines.
Red China, get out Philippines.
Let China get out of Philippines.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Now I would like to have Timber Jangla speak. He's a representative for Tibetan Association of Northern California.
당부대 땅에 단다 주누기 인지 통이 내단 골순 사서 상가 그리 지든 수백 부터 주제 말한도 내 용고야 저디 말을 그가 뒤에 그래 됐음람 당하라고 하도 주변은 마시부터 제야 맞다 자나 중기 탄다게 뭐비 중기 아닌 거랑 중기 탄다 중기 어머비 텐데 생긴 거 그래 뒷나버데 니도 찍네 지는 니도 게 이놈아 되게 민도라는 컨셉 별로라고 상마야 라고 혼자 찍이 놈이 되게 체내면 단나보다 체험 단나보다 누구 딴다 딴시와 사상 이자라 땅을 저기 그 공부 오늘 피 부족 보고 탁시 혼자 또시 또 그래 다음에 실로 나도 내가 제가 보고 치도 그 있잖아 파동 새벽에 민감 때 내가 새벽에 부족 탁시 제가 치대요 근데 인자 나랑 배워 처음에 니 르바케베 토네 편하게 강에든 간데 맞다 쓰치야 근데 걔니 중도 그래 가만히 있네 드들 쪽에 있는 폐국어래 폐토 드들 쪽은 근데 인자 대리기 나도 고들 쪽에 별 니게 매베 토네 나랑 게 저거래 근데 저기 그다 동놈이 이유도 장만 근데 인자 별 강화 마시는 것도 나도 되게 탑주디 나는 책이야 말해 니만은 니만 나와는 나와 너는 뛴 다와 이진노고 별 땡기 마셔봐도 나도 뒤터라 탑주터라 시국을 해스 시 띵얘기 나도 초병원에 대통령이 통구도 근데 상맥이 오늘 200개부터네 동생 양맥이 터네 벽이 다 랑르면서 땅이 자다 부조를 뛰 땡이 빠르게 도와 네가 참 소소 뿌고 요래 소소 빙자 요래 네가 려다는 배 떼시 미래기 채도 랑소 려 땅제 침을 휴제 남그래 디 삼로 일을 장비 도네 아주 배봐 상맥이 샘로 쿨케비 도네 내가 탑쪽이 내가지 몇춘 다다보는 난 거를 닌나야 돼 전부 힘을 해야 돼요 그래 그러니까 군대 공로 쓰이나더라 근데 나도 상맥이 나도 내래 그리치든 초백이 탈수돼 라관이 통을 잡에 터니 얼마나 배우고 짜준 준다 탈줄 준다 그치 나 창맥이 별에 있는 니네 캐에 있는 세고래 누구래 주고래 어디다 나무다 쏙한 개나 통말 와 이나네 아리 rumba mungu chingwa to jabyo na de gola ngadu thuga dinne je thari machina ani ngadu jilu thigo orda tinga ngadu thangme gi ni ruba ki bata thakalo
Free Tibet! Free Tibet!
Free Tibet! Free Tibet!
Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong!
Free Uyghurs! Free Uyghurs!
Free Uyghurs! Free Uyghurs!
Teacher